Wait a second. Wait a second. Didn't I already make a video about my PC that I made? Yes, I did. But, as some of my acquaintances have pointed out, it was crap. So I'm remaking it. So, I currently own the Dell XPS 12, the original one, mind you, not the new one. And I got it, say about 3 years ago. Has a Core i5 3337U with integrated HD 4000 graphics. Got 8 gigs of DDR3 RAM. I don't know what frequency it's at. 256 gig SSD. It's got a 1080p multi-touch display. Pretty nice, pretty light. What I really liked about this one was that it flips and becomes a tablet. Now, I was hesitating between this one and the Lenovo Yoga, and I decided on this one because the Yoga, it seemed kind of weird when you fold it back and you hold it in tablet mode that you'd have the keyboard right there. I didn't want to press anything, it'd feel weird, so I went with this one. And for the first 2 years it was totally fine, ran everything, no problem. And then it wasn't fine. It crashed. The operating system just was running at 8.1 Windows, that is, obviously. So it crashed, and I'm like, oh well, this happens. We got it repaired, no problem. And then nothing worked anymore. I didn't really do any gaming, like Minecraft was pretty much it. Minecraft used to be able to run fine, 60 frames at 1080p, no problem. Nowadays, it only runs at about 10 frames. Applications are slow occasionally. Sometimes they work fine. It overheats when using Google Chrome or Microsoft Office. There are many programs that don't work. For a while, Office didn't work, and I had to downgrade to 2010 instead of 2013. Anything with Autodesk doesn't work. Anything graphically intensive will crap out on you. The latency is incredible. Like, I tried playing CSGO on it. Not gonna work at all. So, it served me fine for 2 years, but now it's a piece of crap. But I can't get a new laptop because it technically works. I technically can do stuff on it. So I built a PC. Pretty straightforward. I didn't have a very high budget, only about $500, and I had to skimp out on some things that I probably should not have. For example, I used a used hard drive. My recommendation, never do that, ever. It used to be on our old home server that my dad never managed to get running because he knows nothing about technology. Dads. And it was a 2 terabyte Seagate Barracuda. I'm like, awesome. It's great. It's got plenty of space. Very reliable. I mean, it's Barracuda. It's pretty much the top of the top for consumer from Seagate. But when I loaded Windows on it, it did some weird stuff to the drive. And my dad told me, oh yeah, I never got it configured, so the drive should be empty. It was half full. If you look at the drive, it says 1 terabyte free of 2 terabytes, or some in gigabytes, something like that. But when you actually look through everything, I've only filled up about 150 gigabytes. There is almost a terabyte of ghost files. So I should not have skipped out of a drive. I should have bought myself a drive. I'm actually planning on upgrading to full SSD sometime soon. I also I didn't really know much about computers. It was my first computer build. So there were some things I definitely would have changed. I would have gotten a better case. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later. And I would have gotten a slightly better motherboard as well, and maybe a better processor. Because for $10 extra, I could have gotten a 6-core instead of a 4-core. But I didn't. And then the motherboard has had some issues with drivers and whatnot. Other than that, I've got no problems with my PC at all. So I guess let's take a look at the parts then. So, starting with the motherboard. I have the Asus M5A78LM USB 3 motherboard. This is a micro ATX motherboard with the AM3 Plus socket. Yes, AMD. I went AMD. Okay? Intel was quite frankly too expensive. So, it's a pretty good motherboard. It being micro ATX, it has slightly limited expandability, but it has 4 DDR3 RAM slots. It has PCI Express 1X, 16X, and PCI. The name itself is slightly misleading, the USB 3 part. It does have 2 USB 3.0 ports on the rear I/O, but that's it. It does not have any USB 3 headers, something I was slightly disappointed about, seeing as I got a 5.25 inch bay thing for SD cards and more USBs. Oh well. Other than that, it's a pretty good motherboard. I have had some driver issues, as I mentioned, but other than that, I've been totally fine. I am glad I went with a micro ATX though, because I originally went with a mini ITX and an AM1 socket with a quad-core Athlon. I don't remember what it was, because I was really budgeting then. That ended up not working. I returned it because the PCI Express slot popped off, and so the board is forever dead. And then I upgraded. I didn't quite go with an ATX because that, and I'm glad I didn't, because in my case that was a tight fit already with the micro ATX. An ATX would not have fit. Powering it, I have the AMD FX 4350. This is a quad-core processor that runs at 4.2 gigahertz, based on the Vishera or Piledriver or Bulldozer architecture, whatever you want to call it. Now, some people may be like, ew, AMD, ew. But it's actually not bad at all. Going from my dual core with hyperthreading at 1.8 gigahertz, and an older one at that, this seriously just blew me away. Hard drive. I have the Seagate Barracuda 2TB. As I mentioned, it is used from our home server, so yeah. Not very good. It is super slow. Boot times are about 3 to 5 minutes. When I'm rendering, the problem here is disk usage, because it's writing to the disk, obviously. It really struggles there, and so I'm looking to replace that with an SSD sometime soon. I have 12 gigs of DDR3 1600 megahertz memory, or hertz, I don't know, 1600. Now, I bought a kit of Patriot 8 gig stick, because I wanted to have at least 8 gigabytes, but I still wanted expandability since I was originally going with a mini ITX build. But then I moved to micro ATX. I still had this one 8 gig stick, but I also managed to pull 2 gig sticks from an old Dell Inspiron, whatever the heck. So that's an extra 4 gigs free, so 12 gigs of DDR3 memory. Awesome. Graphics card. This is the part that I didn't try to do like enough performance that would be fine, but still cutting costs down. Because honestly, I think if I chose anything less than this, I wouldn't quite be getting a good enough value for my money at all. I was originally going to use integrated graphics because I didn't do much gaming, but the motherboard has integrated Radeon HD 3000, which is pretty much the same as my laptop. So what's the point? So I upgraded to a NVIDIA GTX 950, specifically the Asus Strix Edition. No complaints there. It is way too overpowered for what I'm using it for, but hey, I don't care. It was actually pretty much the cheapest graphics card that was actually good. I could have gone with the GTX 750, which probably would have been better for me, but it was literally like $20 difference normally, and there was a Black Friday sale anyways, because I got all these parts on Black Friday, and it cost me less, so why not? That's the part I did kind of splurge a little on. It's been running all my games perfectly fine, and by all my games I mean like Minecraft and CSGO, and that's pretty much it. And it's been driving my 3 monitors, yes, I have 3 monitors now, perfectly fine. No complaints whatsoever. The case is probably one of the other things that I really wish I got a better one. I have the Fry's ATX 821, something like that. They had advertised it as a Raid Max case, but it's only available at Fry's, and it's really not the best. I mean, it looks cool. I like how it looks from the outside, but on the inside, not very much. There's just enough space for a micro ATX board. Like, the side of it is kind of scratching, and if I put a full ATX, the bottom wouldn't really fit very well. It only has an 80 millimeter fan, which I had to add in myself. It does not come with any fans whatsoever. It has front audio and USB 2.0 ports, and that's it. Oh, and a couple 5.25-inch bays. Cooling in that thing is not really optimal. Luckily, I don't do any very intensive things with it, and so I don't need that much cooling. Still, though, not quite the best. Cable management, there's literally no room for, so I have had no option for that at all. So, I guess I have to live with that. So, final thoughts on my PC. I am very happy with it. It's only about $500, and it was actually a little less because Black Friday, woo, and performs much better than my laptop. My 950 does plenty enough for me. My FX 4350, again, plenty enough for me. I honestly have no complaints. Everything runs very smoothly. The only problem is boot times, but that's due to a slow hard drive, and I am planning on going full SSD soon. But other than that, it's a perfect PC for me, and is what I've been using to edit literally every single video on this channel. So, leave a like if you like this video, and don't forget to subscribe. And also, if you want to help me out here, shop on Amazon using my affiliate link in the description down below. See ya.